What is up, T.O.Gs? Well, it happened. It finally happened. I got the plates for the KTM 1290 Super Duke R that I bought back in December. I got them. They arrived, and thus puts the period on the end of this ridiculous journey. Now, if you can't tell by the description of the video, the title, the thumbnail, this was not a good experience. But let me get out of the way what was good about buying this bike, and then we'll talk about the bad. And I want to keep this as short as I can because I don't want this just, because you're just going to tune me out. If I just go on and on about how crappy this was, there's no way that you're going to hang in there with me. But I really want you to hang in there with me because this experience was suboptimal, and there's a lot of reasons for it. So I'm going to zip through them. But first, let's start off with the good. So the good thing is I got my bike. I got the bike that I really, really wanted. I found it. It was at EuroCycle's Las Vegas, and we pretty much did everything online. Everything was done online or partially over the phone. So it was really convenient. By the time I got in to sign the final papers on my bike, I went out to the dealer in Sonoma. It's actually Windsor, California. Picked up the bike, and in 15 minutes, like after I signed everything, it took like 15 minutes, a literal sitting down, signing stuff. I was out the door with my bike. And now I have my bike. I have my 1290 Super Duke, which I freaking love. I've enjoyed the crap out of this bike, even though over the last several months I've been really uneasy about taking it out anywhere because I've had it for so long, and there were no plates, or there wasn't a plate. I keep saying plates, but I didn't have a license plate on the bike. Now, to give you an idea about how long this took, I bought the bike in late December, and I just got the plate this week. Today is August 7th, and I just got the plate within the last week. That's how long it took. So as you can probably tell, now we're gonna get into the bad. And like I said, we're gonna try and zip through this as quick as we can because I want you to know what happened. So first of all, when I got the bike, the one concern that I had that was going to take more of my time, and that would be a hassle, was that I was going to have to do the VIN verification, which is basically just a report that says because the bike was sold in Las Vegas and then having to be registered in a different state, they had to verify the VIN number through either an authorized dealer, which was EuroCycle Sonoma, or at the DMV. So I didn't want to have to go, and no one wants to go to the DMV. So EuroCycle said they would do it. They would do it when I bought it, and they didn't do it. I went there, bought the bike, they forgot to do it. Even though they said I was all ready to go, I left, and it was not done. So I called them, I said, hey, what's going on? I don't think that we did this VIN verification. They said, no worries. We have a dealer out in Reno. We're going to drive through Sacramento, which is kind of on the way. And they were just going to come on out to my house and do it. And really, I thought, well, that's the least they could do because they forgot to do it. So that was great. Well, they came out and did it, and then never turned in their verification to Las Vegas. So I call Las Vegas after 3 months of owning the bike and say, hey, I don't have my plate. I need to know what's going on. And they said, you need to do the VIN verification. We never got it. First of all, why did it take them 3 months to understand that I didn't have the VIN verification for me to not get my plate? I mean, that alone is a reason to be angry. But this was just kind of the MO for this transaction. If I didn't initiate something, it didn't get done. We're talking about me buying a motorcycle, and this is, I mean, I'm not going to talk about the price that I paid for the bike, but this isn't a cheap bike. And I was the one that had to initiate everything. I said that I wanted to buy the bike back on November 27th. And we're talking about this finally getting finalized with the plate over 8 months later. I mean, it's just absurd. So I left my Harley there for consignment, and I wanted to get my bell back because I forgot to take it off. They said, no problem, we'll bring it to you when we do the VIN verification. Well, they didn't bring it to me. Well, they did have it. They brought it with them, but they didn't give it to me. So somewhere along the lines, after I asked for it, a couple weeks later, they said, we lost it. And I thought, you know what? It's a bell. It's not a big deal. That's fine. I should have taken it off myself. But it's just one of those things. It's just another thing that was a complete failure on their part.
You lose! Good day, sir!
One of the other things that's been in the pain in the butt, which has kind of been a blessing in disguise, is that they didn't actually sell my bike that I left for consignment. They were like, oh dude, it's a fat bob, it's in good condition, it's gonna sell easily. Which, right, it's just code from salespeople. Just take your bike and get out of here. You know, we don't, whether or not we can actually sell this, we just want you to get out of here now that we have your money. So obviously I am not happy with what happened. I wish that I would have gone through this more in a list form, because I think maybe that probably would have been more impactful. But that pretty much explains the entire situation. I would never recommend buying a bike online. Maybe it could be done in a better way, and I'm sure that it could be done in a better way, a more efficient way, in a more honest way. But this is what I will emphasize. If you're going to buy a bike online, make sure that every transaction, every conversation that you have with the person that's selling the bike to you is either done over email, or that you have permission to record the conversation. I think the only thing that didn't keep me from getting completely burnt in this deal was the fact that I refused to do most of everything over the phone, and that I insisted that we do everything over email. And I had a record of everything that they said, everything that they did. You know, they tried to tell me when they were selling my bike over consignment, oh, you know, you're only going to get this much after we sell it. And I said, no, that's not what you said before. I sent them the email. They said, oh, well, I guess we'll give you that. It's just these little things where and it doesn't matter if whether the dealer is a typically honest dealer or not. When you deal with different people, you know, because there was like 4 or 5 different people that I dealt with along the way, there's miscommunications. And the more people you deal with, the more miscommunication there's going to be. There was numerous times during these 8 months where I felt like I was starting again at square one. So again, email. If you decide that you find the bike of your dreams online and it's a good deal, and this is basically what happened with me, is that I found this bike. It had all these mods on it that I already wanted to do on my own, so there wasn't that I had to worry about. But then I also didn't have to, sorry, whenever I see a highway patrolman, I know that that I was going a little too fast. Let me get back on track here. So the bottom line here is, I do not recommend buying a bike online. I definitely do not recommend, and this is a nationwide chain, EuroCycles. If you've got one near you, if you've got one that's fairly close, that says that they can ship you the bike, let me just save you the time and tell you not to do it. You know, maybe if I had driven out there and rode the bike home, this process would have been a little bit better. But there was just too much manipulation. It's just one of those deals where things don't feel right. And this is another thing I would suggest if you're buying a bike online or you're buying a bike at a dealer. If something feels off, do not be afraid to just pull out of those deals. You know, whether you shook hands or you started paperwork, if something does not feel right, it is not worth your time and it is not worth your money to take a chance on something that where your intuition or your heart is telling you, and especially if your brain's telling you that things aren't right. Unfortunately for me, I was way too deep in by the time I realized that this just wasn't a good idea. But I guess the happy ending to this story is that I have the bike that I wanted. It runs great. Knock on wood. Good God, I can't believe I just said that. we have the plate, everything is squared away, and now I can just ride, I can just enjoy and move on. So if you have any questions regarding this process, regarding EuroCycle, regarding anything that I talked about, make sure you leave it in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. I'm so glad that there's a happy ending to this story and that there is an end to this story, because I've been waiting to make this video for so long. It wasn't about getting on here to trash the dealer that I bought this bike from, but it really was just to make you all aware, because, you know, at least when you go on Craigslist, EuroCycle has a big presence because they sell a lot of motorcycles and they're able to ship them all over the place. But I just want to caution you, you know, a lot of the times the deal seems good, but is it worth the time and the pain and the complications? I'll leave that up to you. But guys, make sure if you like this video, if this video was helpful to you, that you hit that thumbs up down there, which is the like button. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. Guys, if you're out there riding, be safe. And if you're not riding, get riding. I'm that one guy, and I am out.